Bringing a Nobel Prize winning economist, Paul Krugman. Dr. Krugman, thank you so much for being with us. You have said, Andrew and I were talking about where the markets may go in the next days or weeks, but you have said anybody who thinks that this tariff story has been resolved should be kept away from sharp objects or operating heavy machinery. Explain why you think a lot of volatility is ahead.
Okay, what you really need to understand, I mean, multiple things, but first off, the idea, what Andrew was just saying about can we get concessions? How are we supposed to get concessions from countries that actually don't have significant tariffs against us? The EU average tariff on U.S. exports is 1.7%. I mean, essentially free trade. So the whole idea that we want some big concessions from the EU doesn't make sense because there's nothing for them to concede. They're actually good actors. They've been doing exactly what they're supposed to. But that's not an answer that the Trump people accept. They want to believe that there's something to be gotten. You have Peter Navarro, the trade czar, saying, "Oh, the value-added tax is a tariff," but it isn't. And the Europeans are not going to give that up. So the whole thing is based upon a false picture of U.S. relations with the world. So how do you negotiate over that? How do you get people to undo a lie, basically?
Yeah, can you talk about a proper use of tariffs? We played earlier in the week a Dick Gephardt commercial from 1988. It's a Hyundai commercial when he said, you know, the question at the end of it, would you pay $54,000 for a Hyundai? The question is, when do you think tariffs can effectively be used to protect American workers, protect American jobs?
Well, you know, the textbook economics, I should know, I've written a couple of textbooks there, says that actually tariffs are almost never the right answer. If you want to promote U.S. manufacturing, promote U.S. manufacturing. Have an industrial policy that subsidizes it, that tries to push it forward, and which the Biden administration did, not maybe on a sufficient scale, but they certainly did quite a lot of that. Tariffs are a very blunt instrument. And you know, in reality, sometimes there's no alternative. Certainly the politics of a tariff are a lot easier than the politics of a subsidy, which is why U.S. law does give some discretionary authority to impose tariffs, to protect national security, to deal with sudden surges of imports. But they really should be used very sparingly. And this kind of across the board, Trump has, you know, last week's tariff policy, you know, we're having radical changes in tariff policy week by week. But last week's tariff policy was simultaneously hitting everybody with tariffs, which is a really bad thing, but hitting everybody with very different tariffs, which was even worse because it would have created all kinds of problems. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a little clear what this is supposed to solve.
So, Paul, let's talk about the sort of what's next, the ramifications here. We have a pause in some tariffs, even though the trade war with China is only accelerating. We heard from the president in a sound that we played earlier in the show, suggesting, though, that pause could be lifted if deals can't be struck. But even if they are, what sort of like long-term damage do you think has been done to the nation's economy, yes, but also to our reputation, our standing around the globe?
Yeah, I mean, bear in mind that the average tariff, as best we can make out, is actually higher after this week's decisions than it was last week. The surge in the tariffs on China more than offsets the cut in tariff rates on other players. So this is overall, actually, we're talking about more protectionism. I just this morning put up a post about it's about 10 times as big as Smoot-Hawley in terms of its impact on consumer prices. So this is gigantic. And even if Trump walked back the whole thing, which doesn't seem likely, we are now a country that does this kind of thing. You know, the United States has always been kind of the responsible player in the world. We were the world's system of tariffs, the rules that govern tariffs. The United States invented that. We created it because we thought it served our interests. And now we're saying, well, we can change the rules. We can impose these crazy tariffs whenever we feel like it or whenever one guy feels like it who happens to be sitting in the White House. That's got to be really bad for the U.S. negotiating position in the world.
Paul, the whole notion that I can't help but escape here is that there has been a shoot first aim later philosophy throughout all of the stories, frankly, you've been talking about today. But for you, when it comes to who is trying to aim at any point, who's trying to strategize at any point here, you want a Nobel Prize. Can you explain who has the influence? Do you have a sense of who is actually trying to strategically make calls? Does that worry you? Is that irrelevant at this point in terms of who has the president's ear?
Well, God knows. That's insider reporting, and it's not clear to me that anybody. As far as we can make out, the crazy tariffs last week came out of there's a possibility that they were written by ChatGPT, but it's probably comes out of the mind of Peter Navarro. But that's other than that. We created a system which gives the president an enormous amount of discretion. It's a very clever system that works very well. It's not purist free trade. It's got escape valves for pressure, and it works very well as long as the president of the United States is a reasonable guy. It's designed, and the presumption was that he would be. It was better to give the president that discretion than leave this stuff up to special interest lobbyists in Congress. So it worked, but it hit its point of failure. It now turns into a situation where the whims of the president, especially when you have a very subservient Congress, the whims of the president are law effectively. And I have no idea. I can't do Kremlinology on who has Trump's ear day to day. It's not clear to me that he even really much cares about the economics. It's more about throwing his weight around, about demonstrating dominance. And it's a hell of a way for the world's greatest nation to be conducting one of its most important policies.
Paul, hi, Molly Jong-Fast here. So talk me through, what if today Trump world was like, you know what, we're just going to fix this and go back and sort of reset. What would they need to do?
Well, they would have to go back essentially to the tariffs that prevailed on January 19th. Right? They'd have to say, okay, sorry, this was a glitch, failure mode. We don't know what was going on there. So we'll just do a reset. We'll do a control alt delete and reboot the whole thing. But the thing is, even if you did that, the fact is that we are now a country that did this. You can't. We spent about 80 years. This trading system really goes back to 1947. And we just ripped the whole thing up. And even if we say, oh, sorry, that was a mistake, the fact is that we are no longer the country that the rest of the world thought we were. And you don't get that back.
All right. Nobel Prize winning economist Paul Krugman, thank you so much for being with us. We greatly appreciate it.